Hello, everyone, and welcome to a Friday Live. My name's Elizabeth Carter from ICB. Thank you for joining us. Today we have Jo Wood here. Hello,
Hi.
Jo. So we're just waiting for people to join us. We're just waiting for people to log in. We know this normally takes a bit of time. But Jo, thank you for joining us for one of our pre-Bookkeepers Summit Friday Lives. We did this last year as well, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. I mean, where's the time flown by? It doesn't feel that long ago, does it?
No. One of the best things that we're doing, we've got, obviously it's very busy at ICB HQ at the moment.
Yes.
And one of the things we were doing this week is, I don't know if you remember, right at the start of the summit, you have, we play a video of the highlights of the year.
Yes.
So we've been putting together those highlights. So that's quite interesting to look back at it and go from there.
It's really exciting. I remember whenever I see at the beginning of a summit, I've been to lots of summits and I always love the big screen. It's like a theatrical start of a movie kind of experience. I think you always get that spot on. It's very exciting.
Yes. And it is that thing. I think there's something nice about everybody being in the room together as well.
Yeah, absolutely love it.
So for people who haven't been to the Bookkeepers Summit before, let me just tell you a bit about it before I talk to Jo about her experience of the Bookkeepers Summit, and we can have a bit of chat about what we're looking forward to. With the Bookkeepers Summit, it's not like it's not really like any other accountancy events. It's a conference, so there is an exhibition with 26 of the finest software and training providers there available in the market. We meet in person on Monday, the 11th of November, in a very bougie hotel, don't we, Jo? It's nice in Westminster, Park Plaza in Westminster. And we have one main plenary stage, and we have a series of talks throughout the day. You get fed, which is great. Get all your refreshments and everything like that. It's a great chance to meet lots of people. So we have one main plenary stage, lots of breaks for you to network and meet the exhibitors. And then later in the week, we have the virtual summit as well. So Jo, you're joining us for the virtual event, aren't you?
Yes, I mean, I will be at the in-person event, but Zoe and I are actually, speaking at the virtual event, which is the first time I think. Have I spoken at the virtual event before? I don't know if I have. I can't remember. It's been there's been a lot of sessions and things, but yeah, I believe this is the first time I've spoken at the virtual event, which I'm really excited about because it's a new stage, which is exciting.
Yeah, and the virtual event has been really popular this year. I mean, it was always popular, so it would be interesting for people watching if they're coming to the virtual or if they're coming to the in-person. We'd like to know, or you can come to both. So anyone who gets a ticket to the in-person can come to the virtual. So we'll go back in a minute to what you're doing at the in-person summit, because that's really exciting. But yeah, at the virtual. We have 2 days because we'd like to pack everything into 1 week at ICB. On the Wednesday, we have a series of demos. So that's all our software partners, but they're demos for bookkeepers. They're not demos for accountants, or they're dedicated demos for bookkeepers, and you can get asked questions and things like that. And then on Thursday, we run a full virtual summit. So do you want to talk a little bit about what don't give away the crown jewels, but what are you and Joey talking about? What are you and Zoe talking about?
So we're going to be talking about like the future trends and what to look out for 2025, because I think there's a lot of uncertainty in the world at the moment. And so we want to say, like, this is what we believe is going to be the focus for next year. So like really looking forward, and kind of like make you feel good about what's to come rather than feel nervous about what's to come. So yes, things we think are new, actually. And what's interesting, things that like from the past that are coming back and getting a new lease of life as well, that we are noticing and talking about in our community. So yeah, we're going to be talking about that, which is really exciting, and yeah, helping you make some plans for next year and where to focus your time.
Yeah, I think that's really important. The whole theme of the summit is the future of bookkeeping, and so we've got so many different speakers, and some speakers are thinking about the next 12 months, some are thinking about the next 5 years, some are thinking about the next 15 years, and so people like Chris Downing of Sage, he's going to reflect on where we were thinking the future was going to be, 5 years ago, and how that's come true. That's why he's calling it the future. So I think that would be really good. And I think what you're saying is about the confidence is really important as well, isn't it? Helping people have confidence around the future. So we've got some great talks from people like at the in-person summit we have the director of MTD at HMRC coming to talk about the opportunities for that, and also we have some great reflections on the budget from people like Rebecca Bennyworth and Paul Aplin. I like to curtsy when I say Rebecca Bennyworth because she is yes, Her Royal Highness, yes. So it's great. It's great that we've got some great people there. So the idea is to inform people, but also to inspire them.
Absolutely. And I love, and this is the difference with the actual in-person summit, is as somebody that I know people will think that I'm mostly naturally extroverted, and Zoe, but we're not. We going to events is like, I find energizing but also draining at the same time in equal measures. And I like to think of myself as an omnivert. I'm extroverted but also very introverted. And what I love about the summit is there's a seat with a table, you sit down and you get to take in, and there's no FOMO. I'm not missing another session that I thought I really should go to and constantly thinking, should I be at that one? Should I be at this one? I know that I've had a curated agenda, and I get the chance to, sit, absorb, be present, and take it all in without that overwhelm. And that really works for me, which I know will mostly work for a lot of bookkeepers that find the other events overwhelming. So yeah, I love it and come away inspired because I've had the chance to focus my energy rather than feel overwhelmed.
But I think you're right, and that is something that we hear a lot. I mean, you work the same people that we work with. A lot of our ICB members are working on their own at home, working in small businesses, and so to come first of all to get out of your business for the day, to make sure the kids are dropped off with the swimming kit and teas and the slow cooker, all those things. That is kind of a big thing to get done before you even get there. And I think it's very peoply, isn't it? It can be quite overwhelming. So we try our hardest to make it as warm and welcoming as possible. So a lot of the ICB members will be volunteering to meet and greet people. I know Helen Bauer's got a little group of ducklings that she's meeting at the door and showing around. So it is a warm and inclusive atmosphere, isn't it?
And even I was speaking to someone in my community yesterday, and she was saying, so, like, what do you get for the money and things of that? And I was like, but you get the food. And she was like, what? You get fed? And I was like, and isn't that so good in the fact that when you go to other events, you're thinking, oh, I've got to watch that, but then everyone's going to go to lunch. So then how am I going to get food? Oh, it's going to be a massive queue and it's going to be really expensive. That is another thing that is taken care of. And I was like, you get china plates and a knife and fork.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's proper food. And she was like, wow. And I was like, yeah, it's good food. So, and that might seem to other people what you're talking about. But for me, that's another thing that I know that that's covered. That's another thing ticked off the list. When you're thinking of feeding the family, you often don't think about how you're going to feed yourself.
No.
And therefore that's a stress in the day. So yeah, it's good food.
I think it is good food, and it's a proper hot lunch. And all the refreshments throughout the day,
and tea and cake,
and tea and cake, little puddings. They have little round pie things. I remember those. So I think that adds to the sort of warmth and community thing as well, because you sit down, and you break bread with people, literally.
Yeah.
So it's great, and also it's very welcoming in terms of we've got a record number of non-ICB members this year.
Wow,
which is great news. And so it just goes to show that it is the community, it is the event for all bookkeepers. You don't have to be an ICB bookkeeper at all. And that's what we say at ICB. We're here, much like you, we're here to represent all bookkeepers, when it's not exclusive to people who are.
Yeah, you're definitely not going to feel like out of it if you're. Yeah, exactly. It's a space for bookkeepers, and it is like the only dedicated bookkeeping event. So absolutely,
just bookies. Right. So tell us then what you're going to be there with our primary partner, principal partner, Xero.
Yes.
Tell us what you and Zoe are going to be doing.
Well, we're going to be recording some live podcasts, and we're going to be speaking. I mean, we were speaking. We're going to be interviewing Amy. We're going to be interviewing Kate Hayward, who is the new country manager of Xero.
She's speaking as well. She seems very impressive.
She is so impressive. I've had a little sneak peek at what she's going to be talking about. She's like, you know, this audience, Joe. Tell me, and I'm really looking forward to her talk, because I think us bookkeepers like to know the people behind the brands.
Mm-hmm.
And I've given my insight into what I think she should be speaking at, because I know her, because we went to the same school.
Did you really?
Yes, but we didn't go at the same time because she's so young. I'd already left by the time she joined. But we live in the same, or her parents live in the same village as me. And so I know, I'm so impressed with her job. I'm so, honestly, our bookkeepers need to know about you and the story of you, because it is so impressive, and her passion. And I'm like, so yes, tell us what we need to know about things, but also I know bookkeepers want to know the story behind you. So I'm looking forward to what she's got to say. And that's why I want to interview her and Amy, because this is like how we've got a year as well. There are a lot of females in our industry. Looking at the country manager being female, looking at Amy being the CEO, like inspiration and confidence building, looking at Rachel Reeves being the first, chance.
It makes me cry.
I know.
Rachel
So I think this is a real opportunity to be like, wow, really proud. Like, this is really female-led industry. So yeah, not that that's what the premise was at all. It's just so happened that when we talk about who we're going to be interviewing and the purpose of, I'm like, wow, like, look at this. So yeah, really excited to, interview and be in a live area on riding that wave of that confidence building, and that energy will be a real great opportunity, and some really great podcasts.
Yeah. So are you looking for people to interview? Do you need to, do people need to volunteer, or are you going to handpick some people when you're there? Or
yeah, I think we're going to, so at first, like last year, we interviewed a lot of members.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, Xero have said, like, let's curate some really good pieces of, like, who do people want to hear from behind the scenes? So we will be looking out for people that are like, if we see someone that on stage, someone's got a good story or something that they want to bring off and come to, like, we have a regular podcast. We want to hear from bookkeepers. Our podcast is called the Bookkeepers Podcast. If you've heard something and you're like, actually, I really want to talk about that more and how that's affected me, come speak to Zoe and I, and we will see if we can slot you in on the day
and share your story
going forward.
And also, I think it's about encouraging bookkeepers to share their story. And so I've been with ICB now for about 18 months, and every month we do a member profile.
Yes.
And so we would always, we'd talk to the team at any interesting stories you've heard. And, when I see things on LinkedIn, if people are interesting, and we'd pick people. But what I've been really cheered about is that the last couple of months we've had people approaching us and say, I've got a story to tell, and I think you should tell it. Kath Vincent, Kate Powell, both of them came to me and said, why don't you write a profile of me? And we're really in for that. So please keep doing that. Please keep sharing your stories, because we really want to hear them.
Absolutely.
And they're all different as well, aren't they? There's no one sign.
No one's the same. And I think, that's what's beautiful about the summit. You all come together as completely different individuals with, like, you've all left something at home for the day and chosen to all be in the same room because you have very similar mission and values, but everyone's got a different story, a different background, different reason for being there. And it's just that, when you leave, that inspiration and that confidence building, you can't get that anywhere else unless you're in a group with your peers.
Yes.
And it's a great opportunity.
So for first timers or people who for all people who are returning. Do you have any tips in terms of helping people get the most out of the summit?
Yes, I do have some tips. So my tips would be...
And I have to say that Jo and I have not prepared anything. I'm just throwing questions at her.
Oh, no.
It's always
don't ever ask me to prepare, because then I constantly think about what did I say in the preparation and forget what I want to actually say. So I would definitely wear comfortable shoes. Like, number one, don't think people are turning up suited and booted and like they're going to be in their smart casual. So maybe you can wear jeans and a nice jumper or comfy blazer or something like that. Absolutely. Or dress with tights and flat boots, something like that. Like, be comfortable. Don't think everyone's going, because I used to dress up and think I needed to put on heels or something. Like, I've been going for a long time, and over time I'm like, just be comfy, because
we don't want people coming in onesies.
No,
this is still a day out.
You're still putting your best self forward, but I think the whole I think professional dressing has changed as well over the years, hasn't it? Yeah,
you do. And I always think, Jo, you do rock you always rock a suit and a trainer.
Yeah, I like that, or a jumpsuit and a trainer or something like that. Be prepared to be comfy. Make sure, you know, I'm one for I've started wearing these little loops, but you can have like a headphone or something, even if you have just one. If you feel a bit like there's a lot of noise or anything, it's not like that. It's not that, because I tell you why. It's a carpeted hotel.
Yes.
So for me, I am very, I've realized since COVID that going back into events, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm not as good as I used to be. And maybe it's age or things like that. But I sometimes have like an AirPod or something, just one, so I can still hear what's going on, but it just calms me down a little bit. Also, I would suggest, if you've got, I always have little scents around. I've got one in here, actually, a little scent that you can, like, if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed.
Roll-on thing that
little roll-on thing.
Summit, very much rolling on my stress.
Yeah, a little thing like that. I'd also suggest, like, if you Helen's meeting up with people, if you don't know somebody, that like have a little group or somebody that you can say, can I meet you at this time around here? If you haven't, like, reach out. There will be someone that's feeling the same as you. It's nice to know that you're going to meet somebody. Keep hydrated. There'll be loads and loads of tea, but make sure you have some water as well throughout the day. Yeah. And when you get there, just the ICB staff, like, just stand and have a quick chat, like, get yourself settled in, but they talk to them as well. I've made some amazing friends with the actual ICB staff over the years. And then whenever I turn up at an event, I'm like, there's a friendly face, and they are there to chat to you. And so if you've got any questions, make sure you utilize and go up and see them, because you'll have a stand, like you have like we have
a stand, and yes, all the whole ICB team are there. It's a big event for us, you know, for all to all come together. And also, I was going to say, with the virtual summit, what we do as well is we set up virtual lounges. So if you've got a question for the education team, or if you've got a question for AML team, or if you've got a question for the exemptions team, everyone will be there on the day, so you can absolutely ask it there. But also, you've got that chance of having that one-to-one conversation virtually as well. So I think that's what I was going to say is about. We'll be sending out access to the app on Friday for people who are coming, and so that means that you can look at the agendas and you can look at the exhibitors and think about who you want to see. So we've got all our supporting partners. We've got Xero, we've got Dex, we've got Iris, we've got Apron, we've got Free Agent, we've got Intuit QuickBooks, and we've got Sage. I think I've got more. There are core partners. We've also got, you know, TaxCalc and Bright and all those names. So, but we've got some really interesting ones, really interesting new software providers as well, people like Plus Tech, and just some new names coming in. So we're really, really pleased. So have a look and think about who you want to see on the day.
That's a really good point, actually. Do you know, I'm thinking back to the past, and are you doing anything like this where you used to have to go and get a stamp and then you'd be able to win like a car? Not that you're doing that anymore.
No.
No, you're not doing that anymore. But it was quite, but having a point of like making sure you know who you want to see now, and don't think. So I used to think I have to go and see all the new ones. So you can do that, but make sure if you're utilizing, so if you're a Zero partner already, or a Sage or an Intuit, make sure you go over and talk to them and say, what am I not doing? What am I not using at the moment with my software? Like, go and build those relationships with the people that you're already a partner with. Go and do that, because I have many times gone and realized or stood over the shoulder when they're showing someone a demo or something and thinking, well, I know this already. And then like, oh, I didn't know that. And that can be some of the things. So with the software you're already using, go and make those relationships with them.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why our partners come back, because they like to see their customers as well.
Yes.
But yeah, just go back to what you said about the bookkeepers wanting to know who they're dealing with. I think that's so important. And coming from a software background myself, the software that bookkeepers are using, they're using day in, day out. It's really, really important that it works and that they get the most out of it. And we know that from a practice point of view, that for the software, most users are probably using 40 or 50% of it. They're not using the whole capability.
No, and we're not. And lots of bookkeepers talk about wanting to be solo practice owners, and some want to build teams, but some don't. But what I say is that even if you are a team of one, think of your software partners as your team. Think of them and say to them, like, how can I get more out? What are the updates that you're doing? Because we get email blind. We sometimes don't see the things that are coming through. We get so many emails sent to us. So, so say to them, like, if you were in my shoes, what are the updates that you'd be turning up to? What are the webinars that you think I should be? How often should I be speaking to my account manager? Book those in the diary as if they were your team members, because I don't really think anyone is running a truly solo practice anymore. You do have people around you because of software. And I don't think they utilize that. They don't step into that shoe as a leader and CEO and go, right, they are literally my team members. And how, even I had a phone call yesterday from a bank that I'm working with. And they said, right, you're all set up, ready to go. We do have a demo that we can take you through, but you'll mostly figure it out yourself. And I was like, no, I want that demo. I want you on the call with me, showing me how to do it. And they're like, okay, that's fine, because you learn so much more when you see somebody at that that's utilized, and they know everything about it. So yeah, I would encourage you to go and meet your team at the summit.
I think that's a really good point. And also, I think the work that you and Zoe do in terms of supporting bookkeepers really think about their practice as a business is so vital, Jo, because it's one thing doing the work, isn't it? But it's another thing thinking about your own business. And in the same way that if bookkeepers have got clients who are, I know you used to do lots of salon owners, didn't you? If they're salon owners or they're brickies or whoever they are, then they recognize that those people need to focus on their business in the same way that bookkeepers need to focus on theirs. So I think there's lots to learn.
Yeah, and that's a really good point, actually. Going in and looking at that list for your business, but also step aside and put yourself into your client's shoes and think, is there anything there that any of my clients are dealing with at the moment that I'm not, I don't know how to fill that gap? And then go and have conversations with those software providers as well. Really interesting.
And also thinking about how it enables you, how the software enables you to add additional services. I think that's really important too. So I think I've said this every week so far, that with one of the things we're seeing is just the growth of bookkeepers delivering payroll. So for example, this at the in-person summit, we've got Fran Williams from Iris talking about how you add payroll as a service, how you can do that. Because we've got vendors such as Buddy, who are great, and Iris Staffology, and all those things, all this software. And so you don't know how to do something unless you're told, do you? So
no, and I think that's really important in the fact that we get to choose what kind of bookkeeping practice that we build. And I didn't realize that I got to choose that. I thought I just had to do what people were asking for. And so if payroll, is something that's been asked for, okay, do I want to offer it as a service? If so, or is it something that there's another ICB bookkeeper out there that is offering that service? And how do I find that team member? You don't need to employ someone, but you could still have them in your team, supporting your clients. So yeah, it's it. And I love when I speak to bookkeepers, again, this is what's so interesting. Some are like, no, I do the bookkeeping and I take it to VAT returns, and then I have an accountant that I deal with. Great. Other people are like, no, I have someone doing the bookkeeping in my team. I manage it, and I have a payroll outsource, and I focus on having cash flow meetings. Like, everyone's different. It's like, great, you know where your strengths are. And that's what our job is to help people build confidence of going, it's fine. You can build whatever business that makes you happy, rather than just offering everything and being overwhelmed.
Yeah. And yes, I think, not everyone has to do everything, do they? That's a really good point.
No.
Right. Just before you go, I just wanted to talk about the ICB Lucre Awards that are on Monday night.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
That is not a casual thing. That's
no.
high.
I've just got my dress.
Have you?
I'm going ICB red.
This is very exciting. It's very nice to see everybody dressed up. It is very, very bougie. And so I wanted to talk to you about the Bookkeepers Champion Award, because this is the reinvented Bookkeepers Personality of the Year. We just felt Bookkeepers Champion just opened it up. Now, what's interesting is we've got 5 finalists. 3 returners. Who've been finalists before, and 2 absolute complete newbies. So the finalists are Chris Downing. I'm going to remember this. Chris Downing from Sage. Now, he was a winner, I think, 2022.
Yeah, and 3. Was he both?
No, 2023 was Kirsty St. John.
Oh yes,
who is back again. She's a finalist too. And we've got Johan Gorey. You know him? Who set up Client Engager, is very, very active in the bookkeeper world. And we've got Natasha Everard as well, who's got this amazing community group. And Joe Wood back again.
Back again as the nominee again.
So can I just tell you how this works?
Yeah,
so
tell me. I didn't even know it was a thing until I got my email.
Well, because you don't put yourself forward for it. What happens is when we have the ICB, the Bookkeeper Awards, which are judged, and of which you're one of the judge, and you know how difficult that was. You had the most interested judge this year. How many did you have?
I don't remember. It was very many.
We doubled the number of entries this year. So, which is great because bookkeepers are recognizing that. So we have the Bookkeeper Awards, and then we have software software awards that are voted on. But as part of when ICB members vote for that, we ask them to nominate Bookkeepers Champion.
Nice.
So you had nominated, and then whoever got the most nominations wins.
Ooh, exciting.
So what do you think? Who are you gonna make any predictions? Johan, Chris, Natasha, Kirsty.
I don't know.
It's tough competition. Really... I think you've been a bridesmaid. I think you've been a bridesmaid twice.
I have been a bridesmaid twice, and but do you know what I love? Do you know what I love? That there are more people in this category. Like, that's really exciting, because that means that there's more of us championing this. And me and Zoe are getting on a plane on Sunday and flying to Accountex Canada, because they're like, actually, I was asking about who turns up to Accountex Canada, and they're like, oh, well, there's business owners. And I was like, and accountants. They're, well, actually, there's more bookkeepers than accountants. And I'm like, what? So like the whole bookkeeping movement is like, I can feel it, and I'm sure you can as well. Like, and the other strange thing that's happened is a few people reached out to Zoe and I recently about, like, how do we make bookkeeping better in our accountancy firm? Like, accountants are reaching out and saying, like, we're not making the most of this. Like, we're missing a trick here. And I'm like, wow. So I'm just really happy. Like, let's hope that every year there are more and more competition in this category.
Yes, let's have more champions.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of people who are kind of runners up, which I will dig out and share. But yes, it's exciting. So we'll draw to a close there. But thank you, Jo. If people are joining us at the Bookkeepers Summit, please enjoy yourself and connect with other bookkeepers that are coming. Make sure you come and say hello to the team. And we're looking forward to seeing you. If you haven't booked your tickets are on sale until Thursday, the 7th of November.
Okay.
And that's our cutoff. And yes, we've got more numbers than ever this year, and also the virtual summit is great. So we've had a really good momentum in terms of tickets as well, which is great.
Amazing.
So yes, that's great. Thank you very much for your time, everybody, and thank you, Jo.
Thank you. See you there.
See you there.